Hey skiers, it's Bob with skiessentials.com.
And I'm Emily.
Emily and I are here. We got a great women's ski for you all. This is the Elan Ripstick W94 Black Edition. It's about time that they carried over this Black Edition technology into the women's line, don't you think?
Absolutely. Been waiting for it.
Yeah, and the men's 96 does bottom out. I think it's a 164. So if you're looking for a shorter size than that, you kind of had to wait till this. But worth the wait, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And like Ripsticks in general, really, really fun all mountain skis. And then adding this Black Edition construction and just awesome graphic. We wore our dark colors in honor of the Black Edition skis. Really just takes us to the next level. And I think you did a great job in the written portion, kind of
Thank you.
emphasizing what those things were.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go over construction real quick and then we can kind of dive into performance after that. Elan does a great job at using carbon. So like when we first got on the 96 men's edition a few years ago, it was kind of that like eye-opening moment where like, wow, how did they do it? How did they make this ski feel like it has metal in it without? And it's all about the carbon tubes. So we do have a tube-light wood core here, pretty lightweight wood. And then with other Ripsticks, we have the two carbon tubes that run along the side. They do get put in there under pressure. So they basically mill out a section, put the tube in following the radius, so it's already under pressure, which I think is really kind of a key ingredient to this. And then with Black Edition, they add two more carbon tubes in the forebody of the ski here, and then another one in the tail. So they're really kind of putting more emphasis on the central portion of the ski throughout in the spine, which really adds to the dampness of this thing. Carbon line technology carries through from regular Ripstick. So since these are asymmetrically built, the engineers at Elan are able to take more liberties with their construction and engineering. Right ski gets more carbon on the side, on the inside edge. So when you're carving or getting this thing up on edge, that inside, that downhill edge gets more power, more strength. They leave the outside unencumbered by that carbon, giving it just a little bit more of a drifty and floaty feel. Vapor tip inserts also carry through, so they kind of mill out the wood in the tip and then replace it with kind of more of a like a high-end plastic material. I don't want to make it sound cheap, but it's meant to absorb the energy and really kind of keep this thing chatter-proof. So instead of just wood, there is more energy-absorbent material there. Works pretty well. Like these things translate to the snow pretty darn well. But that's it. That's pretty much that nuts and bolts of the construction. You know, it's a lot of carbon, you know, different applications, really makes a whole lot of sense. But that's the build. Emily, if you want to kind of walk us through the shaping of this thing and kind of the interesting things about the profile, I think that's another just really interesting part of this Black Edition.
Totally, and what you pointed out just with the asymmetrical design, the amphibio technology that they use. So there's a left and a right ski. And what's cool about that is the right one, once you get the hang of it, which you'd think it might, you know, get you a little mixed up, but it goes a long way. And I was really curious the first time I got on just the original Ripsticks just to see how that would feel. And it's impressive. And so on the inside edge, you have camber, and then on the outside edge, it's a rocker profile. So really goes a long way as far as edge grip and stability, and you can really feel it. And it's for me, it just felt incredibly intuitive. Really stable, really strong, just a great feel all around. And then the tips, you get a bit of, you know, taper, a good amount of taper, and then the rocker in the tips. So really strong underfoot with that amphibio profile and camber underfoot. And then in the tips, it's just really nice. You get that float, you get that really nice, easy, effortless turn initiation. Really impressive shape. I mean, they're really, makes them very versatile. And really strong underfoot, really good in a carve, but then, you know, nice for soft snow conditions, for floating, and then really great for, like you said, just any kind of chopped up snow, just plows right through it and is really damp. I think, we'll get into it a little bit more with performance, but just how you pointed that out, just how damp and smooth they are, that is something that stood out to me immediately.
When we did the Ripstick 96 Black Edition review, Jeff and I, a few years ago, it was one of the ones that just had this overwhelmingly positive thing. Like those attributes you're describing, very like almost identical to how we felt about the 96. Like this thing is amazing in moguls. It floats great in powder. It carves like a ski with 2 sheets of metal.
Really can do a lot.
Yeah, it's quick. It's agile. You can lay into it with a carve. We really couldn't find too many negative parts about this ski. So yeah, those things carry forward to this 94. And just a quick note on the difference in the width. Very minute. They also kind of make differences with the length. I would be willing to bet that this 178 is the exact same like length as the men's 180. They just are a little bit, they're almost a centimeter off with their lengths, but not a huge deal. Big range with these too, 178 at the top end and a 145 at the bottom end. So big range of lengths available here. And we're in the mid 90s, like that is where you want to be for really true all mountain versatility. If you're looking for that one ski that does it all, I think this shape is great. It does not change, the waist width does not change from low to high. So you are going to get a shorter turn radius as you go narrower. This one here, I think it's 18 meters. Yeah, 18 meters in the 178. And then your 170 over there, I think is like 16.2. So there is quite a drop in the turn radius as you go shorter. So you get into that 145 zone and you're probably looking at a 13 meter turn radius or something pretty short. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and really cool what they do with the profile, kind of rockering the different parts. I found it to be incredibly smooth. Like the downhill hooks in, the uphill tracks, like it tracks alongside of it. But you almost like don't even feel it. Like I don't know if you had any of that going on with your
and it just backs up what I said about it just feeling really intuitive. Just feels really smooth, really damp, and just, you get into that turn and it's like doing it for you almost. But, I mean, super impressed. I was really impressed with the Ripsticks. Like, I didn't think that could get better, and then here we are, which is, props to Elan, because it's really, it just speaks to how brands are continuing to work on building off of an already super successful model and then somehow improving upon it. And, like I said, I skied the Ripsticks at the ski test, loved them, and then my day on these, I was like, oh my gosh, I love these even more. So, really fantastic ski. And my experience on them was just, like I said already, they're really smooth, really damp, but then they feel like they have metal in them. I love a ski with metal for different applications, but sometimes they can feel, it depends on the ski and how much metal, but they can feel, I don't know, a little dull, a little, less lively, heavy. And these kind of have the stability and the power that you would think would be achievable through metal, but then they're really maneuverable. Like just getting little airs around the hill, like little rollers, little side hits. It was just, they were so poppy and playful. And then, the second you land and get into your next turn, it was just intuitive and strong. It's just like an amazing balance that they found.
I love the word intuitive that you use, because that was one of my first impressions too. And sometimes you get on a ski and it takes you a few runs to figure out. This and the other Ripsticks too, not the case. You get on any Ripstick and it's an easy, ski. It's just it feels like you're connected to it. This just takes it to the next level. I thought that for a mid-90s ski, the Ripstick 96 Black was one of the better mogul skis that I've been on. I know we're both fans of the bumps. How'd you feel about these things when the terrain got kind of more interesting?
They, surpassed my expectations, really. I got a decent I got a range of terrain, you could say, the day
Yeah.
I was on them. I would have liked to bring them into more bumps and tight trees because I think they would have been incredible. But really just the transition from one type of snow condition or terrain to the other was just seamless.
Yep.
It just felt like I could go all over the mountain and have no real issue. With some skis, you kind of go from a groomer or packed powder to something like a bump trail, and it takes a second to get them under your feet and get the feeling of them. And I didn't find that with these. It just was a really flawless transition, and I felt really confident all across the mountain. And that for an all mountain ski is awesome.
Another thing you mentioned in your written portion was just how these things blend different attributes.
Yep.
So it's like you have this lighter weight. It's not, comparatively like a Nordica Santa Ana 93 with,
Yep.
Metal in it. Like definitely feels a little bit heavier than this. Or like a Head Core 97 or something like that that's just stiff.
Yep.
This kind of blends that nice even flex with that lighter weight with the carbon.
Yep.
Like when Jeff and I were talking about I think it was the Ripstick 88 we just did a review on, we kind of half joked that, what is it about this ski that makes it so like reactive and poppy and amazing?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it's the tubes.
Yep.
And then you start thinking about other skis and their defining characteristics. Oh, what makes this ski so stable and damp?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the extra metal. But like with this, it's like, what makes it the blend of all those attributes?
Yeah.
And it's really with this thing, it's the mix of the shape, the build, and the profile.
Yeah, it's a full package.
They're totally, I think they nailed it with
Yep.
really just kind of mixing it all in one. And then giving it this nice mid-90s shape, I
Yep.
think just totally makes sense. If we kind of talk about the Black Edition, the men have the 106 as well. The 102 would be the women's equivalent.
Yep.
I kind of think that might be a little bit narrow. Like this might be too close to that. It would be nice to see the black 106
Yes.
W, I think.
Yes.
And we had similar experiences with that wider one where it was like, wow, how do they make this thing feel this way? But, for an all-mountain ski, for a lot of skiers, I think that this 94 that's a pretty sweet spot.
It really kind of boggles your mind at
Yeah.
how they were able to achieve all of it in one ski. And, speaking personally and with how I like to ski, I like to ski pretty aggressively and fast, but I'm also small and, lighter. So
Yeah.
just to have a ski that can keep up and, you can bring up to top speed, you can ski aggressively, but it doesn't feel super demanding. And it's just, it speaks to the use and the application of the carbon and just the shape, the profile. It's hard to pinpoint one thing. It's just everything
Right.
combined.
Nope, they do. They really did a great job with these. And it feels like a very similar conversation that Jeff and I had with the 96. We're like, wow, they really put it all together.
Absolutely.
Now the hard-hitting question, Emily.
Yeah.
How does a skier determine between the Ripstick Black Edition and the non-Black Edition, the regular Ripstick 94W?
I would say, what I took from it, having been on the Ripsticks originally and then moving on to these, is just if there's the skier out there who wants to push it a little bit more, just drive them with more power and just a little bit, like I said, more aggressively, I think moving up to the Black Edition, it's a notch up from the original Ripsticks. It just has a stiffer flex pattern. They just have more strength to them, is what I found.
Yeah, we kind of found it to be an interesting question, with the men's, the 96 green and the 96 black. And like, it's fun to get back on the regular Ripstick. Like you should definitely do that, is get, ski this again and then go back to the regular and try to see like what, in your mind, what % different is this regular Ripstick 94 versus the Black Edition. And like, I think last year I got back on the green Ripstick 96 and thought, there's not like that, this isn't a precipitous drop.
Sure.
In terms of performance, you can make that regular.
Absolutely.
You can make it go.
Yep.
That's a high performance ski. It just has a little bit more on the intermediate end, maybe in terms of accessibility. and then the Black Edition has a little bit more on that more aggressive end.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear, like, as a lighter skier,
Yeah.
you know, that you can gravitate either way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that some people might be more, based on their ski style, a little bit
Yes.
more pigeonholed into one versus the other.
Yes.
But overall, either of these skis will work well for accomplished skiers.
Absolutely.
The regular is just a little bit lighter,
More approachable.
more approachable, totally.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that they kind of make fairly similar skis, but yet they feel so different.
Absolutely.
And when they first came out with them, they made us ski the regular first.
Yep.
They said, ski this first and
then get on them.
Get
Yeah.
on the Black Edition. And pretty much like everyone's eyes lit up on the
Yeah.
Black Edition and said, oh, there's something here. Like, are
Totally.
you sure there's no metal in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yep.
It really is. It just has that level of stiffness and power that you
Yep.
would think exactly that. But yeah, they're
Yeah.
playing tricks or something. I don't know.
I mean, like, minimal vibration.
Yeah.
Like, minimal chatter.
Totally.
Like, it's amazing what they do. The tubes, 360-degree application of carbon
Yep.
changes the material. Like, having it be in that form,
Yeah.
in that three-dimensional form, really changes it from like a horizontal laminate.
Yes.
So anytime you go from 2D to 3D, you're really changing the properties of the material,
Yep.
whether it's carbon or metal or fiberglass or whatever it is. But in this case, the tubes, and they really just provide that excellent flex and feedback.
Yep.
So great job by Elan on these skis. Really versatile, very well-rounded. As we've said time and
Yeah.
again, the blend of these attributes is really what makes this thing stand out. And how about these graphics?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it might not come out so well on the camera, but the tiger stripes involved in here is just like...
It's subtle, but it's there. And
So-
it's
This is where the women's version has it on the men's version.
totally, I agree.
I wish they did this in the men's version.
Well, we had to wait, so
I know. Yeah,
it was
so
worth the wait,
you
and
get
that's
the
what we
tiger
get.
stripes, but-
Exactly. But yeah, precise, lively. I could go on.
Yep.
I mean, really impressive.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the blend of things. It's like a wonderfully versatile all-mountain ski. Didn't find really any weaknesses at all with
Yeah.
this thing. And that's pretty rare. You
Yeah.
know, we can normally say, yeah, this thing has a
Sure.
top end, or it's more demanding, or something like that. But
Yep.
nope, this is, intuitive, easy to use, high performance, does it all. But yeah, feel free to reach out, Emily or myself or anyone here. Any questions about these Ripstick 94Ws? Really great skis. Any closing thoughts or anything we missed? Just gonna repeat the same accolades?
Yeah, and I just would encourage any ladies to give them a shot, because they just really are a lot of fun and a confidence building ski that you can take anywhere, and they're going to give you excellent feedback and responses, and yeah, just
Yep.
a blast all over the mountain. So
Yep. Well said. This is it, Elan Ripstick 94W Black Edition. We will see you out there on the hill. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon.
bye.